of people watching this who are field marketers, and they are very closely tied to pipeline creation and progression. And I think one of the things that they struggle with is how to effectively measure their brand investment. So give us a sense of, first of all, what are some of the common metrics for measuring brand investment? And then I'll come back with a follow-up question in a bit on how brand is tied to consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in some cases, it almost feels like a vanilla question, right? Like, what are the metrics that you look at? But as you get further and further down the path, you can see that the complexity really starts to add up. So I think it's absolutely worth digging into. I think at the outstart, obviously, you want to check the basics, the click-through rates, impressions that, to goal, things like that are really going to kind of calibrate where the campaign is. But, a lot of times those can feel a little bit like empty metrics to people. It tells you data, but it doesn't always tell you exactly what your campaign's doing. So really getting some more detailed and more granular audience insights is going to be valuable. Whether that's firmographic details about the audience, or perhaps it's, account lists, who's engaging, who's being reached. All of that data can be repurposed and used for other tactics to make sure everything's getting triangulated properly. Or maybe it's activity like keyword searches, even how long people are staying on pages and on engaging with ads. All of that is very insightful into how effective the campaign is. And then, of course, brand metrics certainly don't stop on the publisher side. So, the post-click type stuff, the stuff that's on the client side, all of that is, equally, if not more important to monitor, to make sure that the campaigns are in fact performing well, and that they're getting value out of what they want. And so, I think, before, you can see a list of like all of these metrics on this slide. So, before I think anybody goes running down to like the nearest analytics shop and says, "Hey, give me all the data you have in a big spreadsheet." I think it's really important to understand the metrics and then pare it down to what is actually vital to the campaign that you're running. So I think every conversation that I ever have with any marketer or sales professional always starts with one question, and that's, what are you trying to do? That's really going to provide the framework for everything after that, be it, construction of the campaign, execution of the campaign, how we monitor and optimize campaigns. And then, obviously about what we're talking about is, what's the reporting? What are the metrics we look at? For example, I wouldn't be too interested in like landing page visits if we're running a campaign that has an expandable ad unit where video is being shown, because we want those people to stay in the unit, watch the video. That's the key, the KPI in that case. Or, I wouldn't necessarily look a lot at cost per engagement if we're running a really wide-ranging, brand awareness campaign that's going to a landing page that doesn't even have a reg barrier on it. So you can understand where like there are certain metrics that make sense for certain things, and you want to make sure that your display campaign is not only set up around those KPIs that you've set, established in advance, but then you're also making sure that you look at the metrics that make sense to the campaign you're running. Because I can tell you, you don't want to be chasing shadows and wasting time and optimizing to things that don't even make sense.
Yep. And so, Adam, just so that we're all speaking the same language, the first two boxes here from left to right, the banner metrics and the audience and activity insights, would be front-end metrics. And then the post-click metrics would be back-end metrics, basically what happens when somebody clicks off to a destination, how engaged are they on that particular platform, right?
Right, exactly. I would say, certainly the banner metrics are the front end metrics you're talking about. The audience and activity insights, that gets a little bit more of a gray area where you're digging a little deeper. It's not just kind of the vanity metrics of the front end stuff. And then, absolutely, the back end metrics where advertisers are seeing what's happening on their site. They're making sure that it's not just empty traffic and empty clicks.